Hey everybody, did I ever tell you the story about the time I first played Edward Van Halen's Frankie guitar? It looked a lot like this one. This one actually came from Mike Tempesta over at EVH Brands. Thank you so much for the early Van Halen claws present. Now, I want to tell you, I was 12 years old and I was working with Edward, crazy story, on My Mother is a Space Cadet, which was a single that I made. And I was showing him the main riff to the song, and he happened to have his main red guitar. I got to play it and I showed him the riff, and he made a few changes to the riff by the time it got onto the record. But what I want to do right now is I want to show you the most basic things that I learned from Edward the first time I sat down and played his guitar and was working with him on My Mother is a Space Cadet. Let me share with you the most basic thing Edward Van Halen showed me, and it might be a surprise for some of you if you are new to the guitar. Let's just talk about tuning. I tune the guitar like this. And that's normal. Everybody learns to tune the guitar that way, but I didn't know anything about harmonics. And Edward showed me this cool thing that I'm going to show you right now. So that right there is really the same as this, but you're doing it with harmonics and you can hear the difference between the pitches a lot more specifically. So check it out again. See how they sound a little bit out of tune versus this? That sounds more in tune, but this right here gives you precision. I can make that more out of tune. See how it's modulating, it's warbling against itself. And now if I bring this back up, now you get to unison. So right there, that's really cool. Let me give you a closer look at exactly what I'm doing. Here's that harmonic tuning. You have to go to the 12th fret and then the 7th fret. You keep doing this as you change strings, 12, 7, until you get to the G string and the B string. You can't use a harmonic there, so you have to use the 4th fret of the G string and the open B string. Then you can switch back to the 12th fret on the B string and the 7th fret on the high E string. A harmonic, in case you don't know, is played by placing your finger right above the fret very lightly and then striking the note. Here's how it sounds. Now that we're in tune, I want to show you 3 things that Edward Van Halen showed me when I was 12 years old and I'd only been playing guitar for about 9 months. If I could learn it as a beginner, I know you can too. So let's check it out. First things first, this was a super cool lick with open strings. He showed this to me. So here's the takeaway with that lick. It's the same exact fingering across 3 strings, and you have an open string in between each phrase, so it sounds like this. Here's the second thing he showed me, which blew my mind as a 12-year-old, because he said, I do this thing. It's kind of like a flanger sound without a flanger, but I do it with my pick and I make harmonics. So it's a harmonic flanger. So he showed me how when he would hit the string with his pick, the thumb would follow and go right across the back of the string after the pick, and it would create a harmonic. And as he moved the pick across the neck, the harmonics would change and it sounds like a flanger. Check it out. It sounds like this. thing I'm going to show you is the opening riff to My Mother is a Space Cadet. Now, this is a great riff for any beginner to learn because it's got power chords and power fifths. So I'll play you how I wrote it, and then I'll show you what Edward Van Halen did to it for the intro of the song. This is what Edward did to the riff of My Mother's a Space Cadet. He wanted the intro to sound different. He said, what if we tried it with a slide? But he didn't have a slide at the time when he first played it. He played it like this. If you're digging these videos, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can be notified anytime I make a new video.
The audio recorded in this video was made possible by Dweezil Zappa playing through a Carstens amplification race model using an RCA BK5 microphone and a Shure SM57 on the Carstens cab. In this video, Dweezil Zappa plays Edward Van Halen's Frankenstein Stratocaster, inspired by the Mary Shelley novella Frankenstein.